Hi friends, welcome back to 5 Minute Modern. My name is Cindy, and today we're talking about all the chaos that has been unfolding around the US Pavilion at the Venice Biennale. The Venice Biennale is an international art exhibition that has been going on since 1895. It's generally regarded as the most important international art show in the world, attracting over 800,000 visitors. It's often called the Art World Olympics. The Biennale is primarily composed of over 70 national pavilions partially funded by each nation's government and showcasing one of the nation's premier artists. For example, in 2022, the US showcased the work of sculptor Simone Lee, and in 2024, they showcased multidisciplinary artist Jeffrey Gibson. I had the chance to see traveling versions of both shows and was really impressed with them. Both artists grappled with the complexities of US history in rich and beautiful works. But for the 2026 Biennale, President Trump's administration is in charge, so needless to say, it's been a disaster. Most of the established art world has shown no interest in working with the Trump administration for obvious reasons. Typically, the US Pavilion for the Venice Biennale is supported by such institutions as MoMA, the Whitney, or the Guggenheim, none of whom were involved this year. So fundraising for the US Pavilion was supported by the American Arts Conservancy, a nonprofit group founded last year in Florida by Jenny Perito, a Mar-a-Lago club member and pet food store owner with little art experience. Unable to raise all the necessary funds on their own, the American Arts Conservancy even turned to crowdfunding. The curator for the US Pavilion was Jeffrey Uslip. Uslip was once a highly regarded curator, holding high-level positions at MoMA's avant-garde PS1 space in New York. In 2014, Uslip was hired as chief curator at the Contemporary Art Museum in St. Louis, and in 2016, he curated a show there by artist Kelly Walker. Walker is a white Southerner whose art practice involves appropriating imagery of Black Americans in the Civil Rights Movement, distorting it, and then smearing chocolate over it. Crucially, in my opinion, neither Uslip nor Walker were able to offer substantive explanations of what Walker's work meant when questioned by visitors, leaving many with the feeling that the exhibition was a hollow and insensitive provocation. The exhibition generated immense outcry and boycotts in St. Louis, which had seen 18-year-old Michael Brown killed by police just 2 years earlier. Uslip resigned in the wake of the controversy and had been doing only marginal curation work for several years before co-curating the Malta Pavilion in 2022, a position that earned him the job as curator of the US Pavilion this year. Uslip selected artist Alma to represent the US, an abstract sculptor known for his organic forms. Allen was an unusual choice to represent the US, not least because, although he was born in Utah, he's lived in Mexico for the past several years. And although Allen has completed some high-profile public art commissions in New York and was featured in a museum show in Mexico City in 2024, he's never had a solo museum show in the US. Given the Trump administration's rhetoric about showcasing art that promotes American values, one might expect Allen's Biennale Pavilion to be filled with the kind of classical Western art scenes the administration loves to share on social media. Instead, Allen's show has been filled with his typical organic abstractions, works which critics have called bland and empty. New York Times critic Jason Farago noted that though the bronze material Allen uses is heavy, the show is as insubstantial as air, with the work showcasing modest technical ability, but lack of any real thought. In the words of Hyperallergic critic Hakim Bishara, Allen's show says nothing, does nothing, means nothing, and goes nowhere. Bishara continues, noting that Allen's art is the sort of blandly inoffensive yet expensive-looking work favored by some collectors. A vapid display of wealth void of taste, intellect, or substance. Is there any better representation of Trump's vision for America? But the US has not been the only source of controversy this year. On April 30th, the jury appointed to judge the Biennale resigned in protest of the inclusion of both Russia and Israel for their war crimes in Ukraine and Palestine, respectively. The Biennale announced that they would not be awarding the Golden Lion trophy typically given to the pavilion selected by a jury, but would instead award a visitor lion based on the popular vote of all attendees. However, both Russia and Israel remain in the running for the visitor lion in spite of the backlash. Peaceful demonstrators protested in front of both Israel's and Russia's pavilions. The protest in front of Russia's pavilion was led by Russian dissident art group Pussy Riot in conjunction with the Ukrainian feminist collective Femin. Then on May 8th, over 27 national pavilions shut down as part of a historic strike at the festival, advocating for an end to the genocide in Palestine and for improved workers' rights. Biennale reopened as usual on May 9th and will remain open until November 22nd of this year, with the Visitor Lion planned to be awarded on the Biennale's final day. Thanks so much for watching this one. I know it was a little different from the usual historical focus of my channel, so let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see more videos like this one. And please let me know what you think of all the controversies surrounding this year's Biennale. As always, I hope you learned something new and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.